of Tennessee. Yeah, she reminds me of Tennessee.
This is Jeff Cohen, Chief Business Development Officer at Sky, and this is Retail Media Thursday. I'm gonna go grab some time with Mike Black from Profitero Plus. Come join me. So I'm here with Mike Black. Mike, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody and Profitero?
I'm Mike Black, Chief Growth Officer for Profitero Plus.
And where are we and what are we doing here?
Yeah, that's a great question. This is Wallen's Bar in downtown Nashville. We're here because of Unboxed, and we got these awesome cowboy hats.
We did, and just for the record, my wife said no, but I'm doing it for the vid. What's your peak of the week? What's got you excited this week?
Probably today, actually co-presenting with Laura Hyland from BIC was awesome. She shared some great case studies of how she's been able to optimize content on Amazon and see some really strong results. So it was great to present with her.
That's awesome. And what was the last thing you bought on Amazon?
Believe it or not, I bought a fake owl to scare away the woodpeckers that harassed my house.
Oh yeah, I got one of those. I got
Yes.
one of those. Awesome. So Profitero has recently released a study. In that study, you guys were analyzing retail media spend, and you were looking at what is kind of come from this spend. What kind of prompted you guys to do this deep dive research, and then we'll get into kind of what came of it.
Well, I mean, if you think about how much money is going towards retail media, it keeps growing, the stakes are high. And I think that what we wanted to understand were, are people spending that money wisely and where might they be losing money? So for us, we always look at the point of conversion, which is the digital shelf. And we wanted to bring some data to show that maybe brands aren't getting all the money worth when they drive that traffic to the digital shelf.
That's amazing. And you analyzed thousands of products, hundreds of campaigns to kind of get to these results. What was the most surprising?
I'd have to say we found that 44% of campaigns are driving to sub-optimized content. What does that mean? So it's a PDP that's failing to deliver all of the information that a shopper needs, not great for conversion. I'd say a fast second to that, we found that 52% of campaigns were driving to products that have low appeal images. So you think of like imagery driving purchase, it's just not moving the needle on conversion, and that's concerning, I think. Flip a coin, basically.
Yeah, and I think you guys dubbed it the 44% problem, right? Which I thought was a great tagline. What do you think's driving this?
So I actually think it's lack of visibility. I mean, most people want to do good things, but I think media teams oftentimes are not talking to the digital shelf teams, they're not talking to the content teams, and they're not sharing data, right? And that's why having shared data to look at where we're actually yielding results, it's really important. So I think it starts with lack of visibility, lack of information sharing, and once we close that loop, I think media teams will reach out to digital shelf teams and they'll have really productive conversations.
So let's talk about some of the findings. You talked about a 29% ROAS lift when you optimize the content. Walk me through what optimized means.
So what optimized means is that you're providing all of the information and content a shopper needs to make a decision. So that could be length of title, bullets, the richness of the descriptions. And the reason why this is important is a lot of brands, when they create content for a product, the brand team creates that based on what you're writing for the brand's voice, right?
Right.
That doesn't mean it's going to work for the shopper. And oftentimes what we find is when you look at the content from the shopper lens, it's missing so much information, right? So it's really about getting that right and having all that information and making sure it's relevant to the shopper for the point of conversion.
Okay, and within this, you guys did a study with Visit, one of your partners that you guys work with, and you noticed a 45% performance difference when you were able to, improve the image quality. When we're thinking of like this type of a massive improvement, what makes a really high converting image? And like, what should maybe people be thinking about when they're thinking about their images?
Yeah, so it really comes down to three things. One is attractiveness, right? You have to grab attention in a quick second. And so you need an image that has that pulling power. The second is persuasion, which is this thing engaging with me emotionally to make me want this product over other products? And the last is what I call utility, and that's around context. So what we often find in products, sometimes the difference between a good image and a bad image is the use cases. It's the showing the product in usage. And sometimes, like, if you think about, I've seen this with pet studies, sometimes the way you, say you have 3 cats in the picture, the way you frame these little things really causes the human mind to be like, I want this, it stands out.
Yeah.
And the only way you get that is by measuring and testing. You can't just assume that it is going to resonate.
Yeah, so the optimal cat numbers in a photo. But yeah, it's interesting because you need to optimize for so many different things in an image. And we talked about this offline, which is that there are points of over optimization too, right? Where you can over optimize. But yeah, like having 1 cat could be good, 2 cats could be great, but 4 could be too many.
Yeah, the perfect example on this one. This will make it clear. So we've done this study before with the safes, safe company where you lock up your supplies, right?
Yep.
The suboptimal image was just a straight on shot. The image that actually converted 30% more, slightly angled, and you could see the opening of the safe and what was in the safe. It's the context of feeling like I could read myself into the situation of owning that safe.
Yeah, I mean, when I was buying a safe, I wanted to be able to see, could the stuff I buy fit into that safe?
Yeah.
So one other, I'll say, I don't even want to call it a revelation because it's almost like something that we've been talking about for years in this space, but you've got more data to prove the value of reviews and ratings, right? They've been talked about like really since the dawn of time in selling on Amazon and other online channels. The value of reviews are boosting your overall results. What did you guys find when it came to reviews and the impact that reviews and ratings have?
Yeah, so we've always looked at the impact that ratings and reviews has on conversion. This is the first time we looked at it from ROAS, return on media. Yep. I think that context was important. So, we see like somewhere like a double digits improvement when you have the right sweet spot of reviews. Now, you might say, okay, well, is there diminishing return? Is there some magic number? And the answer is simple. It's all about, are you keeping up with the competitors? And that's always changing. So if you have the choice of 2 products side by side as consumers look at it, and you have a product that is way off from what a competitor is, that's the biggest thing. Yeah. So you really got to define your success in reviews as what is the sort of threshold that the competitors are setting, and how close are we or far away to that? And it's super critical for new products, especially.
That's something important to keep. And it also just reminds us that like reviews are that closed loop of the consumer finding what they want, liking it, and telling other people. Okay, so let's get into the so what, right? Like we've covered a lot about the findings that you had from this study, but we haven't really talked about the so what. You talked a little bit about the organizational structure and how organizational structures may be set up where there's different teams doing different parts of these operations. What do I do Monday morning, right? I'm gonna see this video, I read the report. What's something I can do Monday morning to impact from what I learned in this report?
So Monday morning, you start your week by looking at all of the products that are not meeting the mark on these conditions, right? And then by Wednesday, you have a call with all the people that can influence that. And you bring that information to them and you tell them, hey, this problem is gonna impact our media ROI. How do we make quick changes on this? So I think, it's
find some quick wins.
Quick wins detection, but also it's like sharing it out and educating people to get them to care. And then you got to make sure that, a week later, we shouldn't be sitting in the same spot.
Good advice. You guys introduced Shelf Intelligence Media. Maybe talk a little bit about like what it is, and you guys demonstrated that it had a 57% ROAS lift. So like what's the secret sauce to something that maybe is a number that seems too good to be true?
Yeah, well the whole principle of Shelf Intelligent Media is there are better times and better signals for using your budget wisely. And we believe that the best signal is when your competitors are struggling, right? So competitors go out of stock, they have pricing issues, they have review problems. And if you can time your budget to take advantage of that, that's gonna work for you. You're gonna acquire new to brand buyers. You're gonna convert at a higher rate because you have just turned their weakness into your strength. And that's what it's all about. And it's doing that automatically, so that happens as those signals are coming in. So you don't have to do that, log in on Monday and do something by Wednesday or Thursday. It's happening in real time when it's detected.
Gotcha. So you're identifying that signal that would identify that you can actually get somebody to shift brands. And then we all know that once you get somebody to shift brands, that they become loyal to your brand until they, either shift brands again or not, right? I mean, I've been using the same razor since I was 14 years old. Not the same razor brand.
Right,
It's
exactly.
a really great razor if I've been using it that long. All right, let's get tactical for a moment. I've got a $500,000 retail media budget, but limited resources. What's the priority order for how I do things? Do I want to fix my content? I want to improve its completeness? Do I want to upgrade my images? Do I want to build more reviews? Where do I want to spend my time if I have a budget, but it's limited?
So I'd say we have a saying, the first dollar should be spent on content and the second dollar should be spent on media. You really got to work on the conversion element of that. Now, whether that's copy or images, let's just call that content holistically. You really should spend your dollars on content. The second reason why you should do that is when you improve your content, you're actually also improving your organic search, right? So your algorithms, retailer algorithms, they need really good content, keyword optimized content to make sure you get the organic. So while you're also improving conversion, you could do a lot to get earned so that maybe you could spread those media dollars out better. So that's like number one. Number two is shelf intelligent media. If you can then say, all right, we've got our conversion, feeling good about that. Now let's capitalize on our competitor's problem. That should be like a fast second. And because that's automated, it should be easier to implement.
That's some good advice to give. And I've always said, like, media is the gasoline you pour on a fire. It's not what you use to start the fire. So I think we're in line and aligned there. So your report mentions AI, right? Big buzz of the week. When we look at AI and the search algorithm, and we look at ideas like intent and value add, how is that changing content optimization? And maybe what are things that we're doing in 2025 that we should be thinking about in 2026 compared to what we were maybe doing a year or two ago?
Yeah. So I think the biggest change with content optimization with AI is so much of what's controlling your destiny is behind the scenes. So we're kind of used to looking at content from what is the consumer seeing and reading, the descriptions, we put keywords in there, but a lot of that what's driving the AI or your product attributes. It could be things in the back end fields of what Amazon has, use cases and things. And so we have to take sort of a two-sided lens optimization. We have to continue to optimize for search. We got to make sure like the prompt language that consumers are using is reflected in the copy. But we also have to take a look at the back end and start enriching those attributes. So that's where I see it as an evolution. It's not a revolution. It's not like we're going to stop doing that. Right. It's just while we're doing that work we have to do, let's add a different lens and layer to that and optimize it for the algorithm and the AI at the same time.
Yeah, I think the evolution, not revolution, is a great point, and one that we always have to remember of we just have to keep getting continually better at what we do.
Yeah.
All right, so let's wrap this up here. Final question. You love metrics, right? What is one metric or signal that brands are not using enough?
Market share. And the reason why is, at the end of the day, most brands, CPG brands, are incentivized around market share. It's not just about growing sales, but it's actually growing it at a faster clip than the category. And I think one thing we see brands not do is, we have to start taking a look at all of this traffic we're driving, all of this search, and having a way to look and say, is it actually moving the needle for us on market share? And in so many times, maybe it's not moving the needle in certain parts of our portfolio, and we may have bigger problems. So the best way to find out you have a digital shelf problem is to say that, wow, we just keep driving traffic up, but it isn't changing anything. And that's a sign that we might have the wrong content, we might have the wrong pricing, we might have the wrong product mix. But if you just keep throwing fuel on that, you're just wasting money. So I think market share brings a lot of truth and reason to those investments. And I think media teams got to get their hands on that and start really segmenting performance based on that.
All right, so to wrap this up, we always like our quick fire, rapid fire questions. So favorite moment at Unbox so far?
I think it was other than co-presenting with Laura, I would say I think I was really blown away by some of the vision Amazon has and the keynote. I think especially the idea of using agentic AI to make campaigns more easy to bring data together. I just think it's going to democratize so much for brands.
Yeah.
And I think they're just, they have a strong vision. They seem to be making great progress on that. So I thought that was super exciting.
Thanksgiving's right around the corner. What's your favorite side?
Oh, my favorite side? It's got to be the mac and cheese. My mom makes the best.
Oh, and you're in the South, so.
Well, yeah.
We've had mac and cheese at every meal.
Yep, mac and cheese.
All right, what is one app that you cannot live without?
I cannot live without Flipboard. You know what Flipboard is?
No.
I've had this app for like 10 years. It's just
And how did you know I didn't mean appetizer?
Actually, what was your question? Was it appetizer?
No, it was just which app can you not live without?
Yeah, I just figured.
But I was asking about your phone.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's kind of boring, but it's just news. Like I'm like a.
Is it like a clip? Like you can clip different stuff?
It's a news.
Curates your news feed?
Curates the news.
Oh,
I've been
nice.
using this since like 2014. I just I'm a news junkie. I mostly industry. It's not doom scrolling, but it's news scrolling. I guess.
Yeah. All right, so to wrap us up here, if you were not in retail media, what would you see yourself doing?
Oh my God, I always wanted to be an archaeologist.
Oh wow, and you got the Indiana Jones hat going.
That's why I picked this color.
Yeah.
If I could do that, that's what I would do. Maybe
really
someday I will.
Mike Black, Profitero Plus. We're at Morgan Wallen's bar at Unbox. So thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Jeff. Yeah.